Hello, everyone, and welcome to Aniki, the weekly anime podcast with two brothers. I'm Ben.
I'm Jonathan. We're weekly now? I didn't know that.
I think we are weekly, since, we've been doing it weekly.
Oh, well, we just never advertised it as such. Now you've pigeonholed us.
I know. All right, this week we're still going through Hyouka and Jojo. This week we're doing episode 7 of both. So, Hyouka. Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Now, I don't remember. Last time, did you warn me that this was the onsen episode?
I did. I told you that we were going to have a hot spring episode. After all of the dark and nitty-gritty and heavy and deep problems with Sektani June and how terrible it is to be alive, but you can't even scream. Now we're going to forget all that, and we're going to go to an onsen, because that's way more interesting than all those problems.
With a guy that hangs himself.
Well, I mean, sort of.
You get that in hotels in Japan.
Yeah, you get a lot hanging yourself in Japan. It's very unfortunate.
So this week's Hyouka opens with our boys Oreki and Satoshi arguing with each other on the bus.
Yes,
about,
we start on a bus,
some tabloid
driving
journalism.
through the country. Probably one of those late night radio stations. But yeah, they're talking about a hussy, which is not a hussy, but a hussy is in like a Loch Ness style monster, like Champ or Nessie.
Was it a giant eel that they were talking about?
I mean, it might as well be.
Mm.
But we're talking about that on the bus as we're driving through the country. What I really liked about this little pre-op scene is how quickly you get introduced to all the characters' archetypes.
Oh, yeah,
Satoshi's like, oh man, I really hope it exists because that would make life more interesting. And Oreki's like, no, it's super fake. Why are you even listening to that? Ibara is just mad at Oreki for being dismissive, and Chitanda's just like, man, I'm really curious whether or not it's real. And you're like, well, there you go. There's our character, guys.
Yeah, you could have skipped the first 6 episodes and just gone with that little introduction.
Just watch
right there.
These guys on a bus, and you're like, oh, okay, I get it.
I do like the little phrase that is used here, because it's used throughout the rest of the show.
Yes, it's that all ghosts when examined are but withered flowers.
Which I thought might be a haiku, so I went looking for it, but all I could find are references to this episode.
Oh, fair enough. I guess it's a phrase. It might be. It doesn't sound like a haiku. It doesn't have a seasonal word or any of that nonsense.
No, it ends up just being a phrase. The episode title. Did you catch that?
No, I actually did not. I wasn't paying attention. What is it? The Classics Club and their swimsuits?
No. Well, actually, no one had a swimsuit this time.
That is technically true.
Just a towel.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, the title is The Ghost When Examined in English.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It was. Yep.
It's just the first part of the phrase. The ghost when examined is just withered flowers.
Yep.
But I saw that, and I didn't actually see the word ghost. So I quickly paused it and spent 10 minutes trying to figure out what exactly
and you quickly went deep on the kanji. So was it it wasn't yurei? It was something else?
No, it's actually shoutaimitari, which means watching one's true self.
Oh.
Oh, very deep. Well, maybe if you take the ghost to mean like they do in Ghost in the Shell. So then Oreki is examining his inner soul.
I imagine it's some kanji vagary that is lost on us here in the United States of America.
Oh, of course. Anyway, if you're curious, it's the kanji for stop, followed by the kanji for body.
I don't think anyone is.
I'm curious.
I mean, it could be.
Kininarimasu.
Yeah. We have crowds of people out there on the internet. They're being like, Kininarimasu. I need to know about these. Or, no, it'd be kanji narimasu.
Kanji narimasu, yes.
Yep. Yeah, see? There you go. It's perfect.
That's a good one.
Why do I have a little bubble popping up here? Did you send me a picture of something? Oh, you sent me a picture of...
I sent you some kanji.
I see that. Oh, it's the tally mark. I see it. Hello.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yay.
I guess that means correct. Doesn't it? Yep. Not stop. Means correct. Sorry.
Oh, well, there you go.
Correct body.
Again, for all 6 people who care.
Right. Anyway.
Right. Yeah. So
they're going up the mountain to Zaizen Village.
Yes, they're going to a hot springs. We've done it. We're 7 episodes in, and we've made it to the hot springs episode already.
Hooray.
It's the best.
They brought it forward.
Oh, yeah. We've gotten there. We're hitting all the tropes. So they all get off the bus to another little train station. And they're waiting for the car from the inn to pull up.
Ibara sort of makes a quip about Oreki both being car sick, which he is majorly car sick.
Yes, poor guy.
and how he's on vacation. He should be enjoying himself.
Yeah.
And I do like Oreki saying that he would rather be taking a break than going on a trip.
Yeah. He's like, I'd rather spend my summer break actually like taking a break than coming here to take a break.
Taking a break, yeah.
Like, I would rather just be at home playing video games, reading light novels than going anywhere because this sucks. And we get a flashback about how he was convinced to come here, though.
Chitanda and him are in the geo prep room, as they always are, by themselves. And she's thanking him for helping out with the whole Sekitani June mess.
Yeah, and she's like, hey, we should go to a hot spring to celebrate. He's like, I don't know. And then she just looks at him.
She looks at him, and all over her face appear the words, Ikitai, I want to go.
It's like,
I'm going.
Darn it. Oreki just can't say no to this lady.
So Donna, I guess.
I guess we're going. But the good news is they get to go for free, because we find out that the inn is owned by Ibata's relatives, who are renovating the place, so they can't actually take guests, so they just get to come in on a technicality.
I did think it was weird that in the summertime, which is like high time for trips to faraway hotels, they have decided to shut down and renovate.
You gotta renovate sometime.
Otherwise, how are you gonna have a riveting ghost story?
Oh, it's true. You gotta have them during the summer. Well, they show up at the Hot Springs Hotel where they're staying, and they're introduced to the family that owns the hotel. Do we actually get how they are related to Ibata, or they're just related?
They are just, quote, relatives.
Yeah, they're just relatives. Well, fair enough. And we meet the mom and dad and two young girls who will be sort of important for today's episode. The Zena girls, if I recall correctly. Rei and Kayo. No,
Kayo and Rie.
Yeah, Rie and Kayo.
Mm-hmm.
One is in 4th grade. That would be Kayo. And one is in 6th grade. And that would be Rie. Oh, nice. Either way, they're nice and polite. They bow and, all that fun stuff.
The things kids do.
All the guys go to their various rooms and whatnot, and we get some scenes of them lounging about and doing various onsen-style stuff.
Well, Satoshi says that he really loves the view outside their window, which is pretty much just a mountain and a street and some houses.
Well, I mean,
and Oreki's like, it's okay. It'd be nicer, though, if he were alone. And Satoshi pretty much ribs on him for that one. He's like, wait. Traveling? Alone? You? I don't think so.
You alone is you in your room. You do nothing. Why would you go anywhere to bum around when you can bum around at your house? Well, they're called down to dinner. And on the way down, Oreki, I guess, is channeling Chitanda because he smells something in the air.
A wide and variety of aromas.
Yeah, he's like, it smells like cheese. And we're probably having like stew or an au gratin tonight because that would make sense, right? Because the smell of milk, you use milk in stews, and potatoes au gratin, you definitely use cheese. So he's like, he's getting himself excited for the great Western-style meal they're about to go have. And he sits down.
No, it's just shabu-shabu.
Yeah.
Chilled shabu-shabu.
Yeah, just traditional stuff. Traditional Japanese fare. And he's a little down by it. But the Zena girls are there at the table, too. And they're like, hey, don't worry, we got delicious dessert tonight. And Oreki's like, oh, cheesecake? And they, like, flip.
Like, how did you know? That's
How
amazing.
did you know it was cheesecake? Already, we're one dumb mystery in. Why did it smell like cheese? The first half of this episode is a lot of filler.
Yeah, he has an effect on women, turns out.
He does. He's just so interesting, and they're just all so curious.
After dinner, though, Oreki returns to his empty room so he can, take a break and not do anything.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is Satoshi's gone. He's gone rogue somewhere.
Yeah.
So Oreki just does what Oreki does. He lays around, he watches some TV, he reads his book, and then he gets bored, which is interesting for him.
Yeah, Oreki does get bored. He wants to conserve energy, not waste. He's not all about wasting energy. He's just about conserving it. And there's a
could take
subtle
a nap,
difference.
Though. Yeah.
He could, but it's so early.
So he decides that since they're at an onsen,
maybe they should actually onsen.
Yeah. So he walks outside and runs into Chitanda, who's also on her way to the onsen.
Oh,
so now we are on our onsen dato.
Yeah, buddy.
Hooray.
Oreki and Chitanda hitting the hot springs at the same time. Best.
Oh yeah.
We're good. We're doing it. Well, on the way, it's a short walk to the onsen, and as they're going, they decide to have a conversation, and by they I mean Chitanda decides they're going to have a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Chitanda starts grilling Oreki about his Aniki, being like, "So what's your sister all about? You talk about her, so how is she?" And Oreki responds with, "You could call her an oddball, or you could call her a genius." I just wrote, yeah, that sounds like somebody who's in Oreki's family.
I wrote down that she's basically a manic pixie goddess because she's so good at everything.
I mean, I guess. Well, when we meet her later, we see her personality. She's basically like Oreki, but extroverted.
Mm.
So a lot of the same types of personality traits that Oreki has, but taken a little further.
That'd be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Sounds dangerous.
Well, I mean, she did get in trouble in Istanbul, right?
But Chitanda is all like, I wish I had a sibling, I think.
I know exactly what I thought when I started hearing this little speech where she's like,
wish I had a sibling, someone who's always there for you. And I think you and I and probably Oreki all had the same thing.
What?
Which is, she's never had a sibling. She has no clue.
Nope, but I thought that, but I also thought, you hear that, Japan? Hey, Japan, you know what? You should have kids. You should have lots of kids. Single kids need brothers and sisters. You know how you do that?
So
by having more
sad.
kids. You should have lots of kids. Kids want siblings. Siblings are the best kids. They're great. Have lots of kids.
You saying KyoAni is a wing of the Japanese propaganda department?
I'm pretty sure all of Japan wants Japan to have kids. Have kids. Have lots of kids. Have more kids.
So many kids. That way they can
have
buy more anime.
Please have more kids. We're running out of people. Please have more people. We need people. Oh.
Well, on the flip side of that, she is super optimistic.
Yes, I wrote Chitanda has a very rose-colored view of siblings.
This whole episode turns out to be just siblings.
An advertisement for having more kids. Please have kids, Japan. Japan,
yes,
please have more kids.
You could spin it that way. But yeah, Oreki thinks she's too optimistic. She thinks her dreams are everybody's dreams.
Yep.
And she just doesn't know the half of it.
No, she really doesn't.
Because having siblings is the worst.
It's like having tons of best friends, right?
Yeah, all the time.
I mean, we're best friends, and we talk about our younger brother on here all the time, right? You knew he existed before just right now?
Oh, yeah, him. Yeah, I don't think he listens to this.
Probably not.
Hi, Steven.
Hello. Siblings get along great. We didn't put you in a hole that one time.
Oh, no.
We didn't try to bury you alive or anything.
No, and we never try to tell each other that their brains are falling out after they hit their head.
No, never. We've never been up to sibling mischief. Never before in our lives.
Oh, no.
We've never ruthlessly mocked each other, any of that. We've always been the best of friends who shared our yukatas with everybody and all of that. It was great.
And forever. Oh, yes.
Either way, our two lovebirds roll up at the hot springs. We see the little sign for men's bath and women's bath. And of all people, Chitanda is like, oh, it's not a mixed bath? Oreki's like, what?
He's like, of course it's not a mixed bath. What is wrong with you?
What is wrong? Why would you assume that?
She's like, oh well.
I mean, I guess she's just used to being rich, I guess. I don't know.
But
Oreki,
she's a woman of the world.
I guess so.
That's what she is.
Oreki goes inside to get changed, and a little boy comes in at just the right time to hide poor Oreki's butt. Sorry, ladies. Sorry.
No Oreki butt this time.
No eye candy for you today, other than the rest of Oreki, I guess. And then we just get an awesome scene where Oreki just goes into the hot springs and relaxes, and all I could think of the whole time is, man, I wish we had hot springs here in the States. I just want to go do that.
It would be really nice.
Just
the most you can get though is the nasty hot tub at the Y.
Yeah, ooh.
That's the closest you can get.
That's not really the same.
It is full of dirt, mud, and old men.
Yeah,
so
but
it is kind of the same.
But not on purpose. It's not purposely like that.
Anyway, so he gets in and Satoshi shows up from behind a rock. This is where he has gone rogue to.
He's been here the whole time. He is all about these hot springs.
He's like, man, the water's just flowing through my veins. It's great.
And Oreki quips it like, dude, you should not have water in your blood. That's really bad for you. Oh, Oreki, you have a sense of humor, right?
I hope he does.
Kind of.
So right now is where the whole time with him being sick on the bus and the van comes into play. Because he's gotten in the hot spring, which, hot spring,
They're
water.
Hot. They're very hot.
Makes you a little flustered. Well, he hears noises coming from the other side of the fence.
Yep,
the women's side.
Women's bath are. And he cannot help himself but imagine.
He's like, oh, Chitanda's over there.
Chitanda being over there.
She's probably getting in the water. And
dripping wet. And
washing herself. And
getting
all that hair.
All comfortable. And then he passes out.
Oh, yeah, he does. He's just flat out. He's gone. And Satoshi drags him back to the hotel where Ibara has to help him put Oreki in
to
bed.
Poor Oreki overheated himself in the hot springs and must be drug around by Satoshi until they can find a place to sit him for the night.
I do like Ibara's quip, is he is fated never to enjoy anything.
Yep. It's like,
can't even enjoy sitting in hot water.
He can pass out sitting in hot water. I mean, Oreki is constantly in hot water with Ibara, so
metaphors.
Yeah.
So while he's laying there having his fevered thoughts,
toot toot. That's the shipping ship. It's coming in.
Oh yeah,
it's the ship
it's coming in. Nice
Here
boat. Here it comes. Chitanda comes in. Well, somebody comes in, and I thought maybe he's just having a fever dream.
Oh no,
because Chitanda's come in. He is having some problems keeping eyes where they need to be.
Oh yeah, poor Oreki, because she's in the post bath robe.
Yeah, she's super mother mode right now.
Oh yeah,
and I'm like, dude, she is right there. This is how 90% of dojins set themselves up. Onsen, you've passed out. You're both alone in a room. But what's he do? He curls up in a ball.
He's like, nope.
He can't deal with this right now. So she gives up and leaves. Who knows what her true intentions may or may not have been.
In the next room. So have fun sleeping it off. We're gonna go tell ghost stories.
He's decided that 8 p.m. is his limit. He's done.
Yep, he is done for the day. Between the cars, the hot springs, and some visualizations, he is too much.
Overstimulated.
Ooh, I'm not quite sure I would use that phrasing in this context.
Anyway, so while he's laying there at 8 p.m., he overhears some things coming from the next room where all the girls are.
Yep. Well, first, at the very strike of 8, he hears some distant taiko drumming. Mm-hmm.
Which you may hear also in our theme song to this podcast. But he also hears a ghost story.
Yes. Since summer is the traditional time for ghost stories in Japan, because it's really hot, so to cool yourself down, you tell chilling tales. That's the actual reasoning I have heard. So I do not know if it's true, but it does make a pun work, which would make sense. So,
yeah, I buy it.
Oh well. Do you want to do? Should we just start up the Yamishibai opening?
Oh, we could.
寄ってらっしゃい見てらっしゃい闇芝居の時間だよ
I wrote down the whole story. I can read it all if you want. Okay. A long time ago, a gloomy customer came to stay at the inn. He was put in room 7 in the main building, where they are staying right now is the annex, by the way, not the main building. The man told them that he didn't need any meals or any room service and just stay away. Since he'd already paid in advance and it was the busy season, he was the perfect guest. But then, that evening, a piercing scream echoed throughout the inn. The guest in room 7 had hanged himself, and his body was swaying in the wind. He had embezzled money and run away. Ever since, guests staying in in that room all say the same thing. There's something in there. I see shadows at night. And then the 9th guest in the room in the middle of the night succumbed to an unknown illness. That's why they had an exorcism for the main building, and they started building the other wing, the annex, to host guests.
Scream.
So the whole, this whole little sequence is actually done in a really dark, sketchy style. It's really nice. Where we
I like how the
numbers.
gloomy guest was depicted as a creepy Kappa.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
I noticed him busting out of the room, and he looked like the Sludge from Fern Gully.
Yeah, he's a creepy guy. But I like how this suddenly turned into like an actual Japanese ghost story, which is nice. I've missed those.
What I liked about this is like right after he hears this, Oreki's like, yeah, I've heard that one before.
Yeah, it's a good one. Whatever.
Like every hotel has that like story. So yeah.
Yeah. So he's like, okay, fine. I'm shutting the window.
Yeah. In the room where they're telling the ghost story, you hear like Chitanda and Ibarra being like, "Oh, so what room's room 7?" And they're like, "Oh, it's the room right across the way." Because it's Rie telling this story. One of the Zena twins is telling the tale, and she says that the girls are told to stay away from the 2nd floor in the main building entirely. Just don't even go up there because of this creepy tale.
Ooh. Yeah, Oreki actually he drags himself off his little mat to go to the window. And I think he ostensibly wants to say that he's just closing the window. But his eyes are going to where that room is.
Oh, yeah. He wants to see it. He's a little
maybe
curious.
he's a little kirinarimasu.
Yeah, maybe he's gotten the bug, the Chitanda bug.
But as he's closing the window, he notices a dark figure.
A yukated figure? Run across
well,
the
it's
courtyard?
something. A shadowed figure runs off into the street and out into the night.
Spooky. Not really. It's you can see what it is entirely. It's really not that spooky. It's not played up for the scares or anything. And then we have our break. And the second half of this episode is a lot more dense. Because the first half is a lot of filler and a lot of pretty scenes of people going to the onsen. But when we get back from break, it's going down.
Yeah, because Oreki wakes up with Satoshi's happy drool face in his own face.
Mere centimeters away from Oreki's.
So if you're waiting for that ship,
away.
it has happened.
There we go. It has sailed. Toot toot. Oreki walks downstairs to breakfast where he sees the Zena girls cleaning up. And right behind him come Ibarra and Chichan. And
Well,
Ibarra,
actually, there was something interesting that happened right before that.
Oh,
I don't
sure,
know
yeah,
if it's
go
just
ahead.
me catching it or not.
I don't know.
But he asked, "Where is everybody?"
Yeah.
To which they say, they're right behind you. But the way he asks it is kind of interesting to me
Oh.
because he asked it saying, "Chitanda tachi wa?"
Oh, where's
Meaning,
Chitanda's group?
Where's Chitanda's people? Where are those guys? The
Where are those
Chitanda guys.
It's like, well, she knows where Oreki. She knows Oreki knows where Satoshi is. So I guess Ibarra is now just part of Chitanda.
Yeah,
If it is Chitanda Tachi, that's pretty great.
it
Where's
made me giggle.
Chitanda and that other one? There's some good verbiage there. Either way, Ibarra and Chichan are right behind him. With Ibarra, her face is like super pale, and she is hiding physically behind Chitanda. Just
Because
repeating,
last
I saw
night-
it. She saw it. I saw it last night.
She saw a ghost.
She saw the ghost. And she tells her tale, which is last night I woke up in the middle of the night, and when I turned over in the room across from ours, I saw a hanged shadow swaying back and forth.
Oreki's only thought here is, it's too bad Satoshi isn't here to see Ibarra be so panicked.
I know, because she's like holding on to Chichan for like dear life. She's so worried. It's like, man,
Oh, yeah.
Satoshi's really missing out. He could get to play the brave white knight here if he wanted to.
Mm-hmm. So they all sit down to the old breakfast.
Yeah.
And while Ibarra is still going on and on, Oreki notices that the cup that he has
Yeah, one of the tea
isn't
mugs.
his cup. It's Ria's cup because she apparently wrote her name on it.
Rio,
So he
Rie-
grabs his
No.
own cup and
Yeah.
thinks nothing of it for now.
No. Either way, Kaio actually seems very distressed by Ibarra's story of the cloaked figure hanging in the room. And she yells at Rie for telling them both that story.
She's like, Dad told us not to tell anybody about that.
It scares away guests, and Rie is like, dude, it's like our relative. It's Ibarra. What do we care? She's staying here for free. She's not really a guest anyway.
While they're having a little accusation fest over there,
Yeah.
Oreki and Chitanda share a moment of non-verbage communication.
Yeah.
Because he looks at her and she looks like she's about to say something, but then she looks suddenly ashamed.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, that's a little weird. What's going on?
Well,
Then she's like, well, I've heard this story from Ibarra, but I'm concerned, I think. And Oreki's like, well, I don't care. It's stupid.
whatever.
She's like,
It's
well,
not a big deal.
Okay, then maybe I'm mistaken.
It's like, what now?
Yeah, that's unusual. Why would you just give up on a mystery like that? So he's like, okay, why would you be mistaken? She's like, oh, that's because I saw the hang shadow too.
It's like, I saw it too. It's like, oh, well, now instead of just like somebody seeing it after going to the hot springs and staying up late listening to ghost stories, now 2 people saw the same thing. That's a little different. Maybe you guys actually saw something.
And she's like, but if I am mistaken though, I wonder what I saw.
Yeah. And Ibarra like stands up having overheard their conversation, and she just like gives Oreki a very scorning look. She's like, all right, sure, if I didn't see a ghost, then what did we see? Tell me, Oreki. And then they both get up all in his face, eyes gleaming.
They have the curious eyes.
Oreki physically winces as she, of course, utters "Kini narimasu," and off we go.
But then immediately Ibarra has chickened out and has to go, quote, help Rie with her homework.
Yep, and leaves our Labu Labu twins to solve this one on their own.
Oh, yes.
Which, of course, Oreki, only in his inner monologue does he think, well, either way, if I have to do it, let's make it quick.
So their first stop is back to his own room.
Yeah, so they can look out the window and discuss the room across
Room
the way.
7.
Oh, Ben, do you remember
Yes.
where Satoshi was during breakfast?
During breakfast?
Yeah.
He was still on the floor, where he
was not-
remains.
Yes, he was not at breakfast. He's instead still in Oreki's room, fast asleep, as Oreki and Chitanda both walk in to discuss the hanging shadow. He is out like a light.
He is a very heavy sleeper, turns
Yep.
out. So I like this banter that goes forth because Oreki, asks Chitanda some questions about this thing that she saw.
Yeah.
Question: how big was it? About yay big.
Yeah.
Question:
I mean,
what color was it? Shadow colored.
how do you define shadow? Gray, I guess.
Okay, how did you see it?
The moon.
Moonlight?
Moonlight, I guess.
Okay, well, have those shutters always been closed? Like, since you were up around 8 or 10? You're like, yeah, those
Yeah.
are closed.
Yeah.
Oh, well, crap. I guess we have to go look at the haunted room.
I guess we're gonna have to think about this a little bit more.
But
'Cause
when
when the
he
girls went
suggests
to
that
bed-
maybe,
Yeah.
he suggests that maybe we go to the haunted room where the guy apparently committed suicide and now he haunts places and other people die of illnesses. Chitanda's reaction is, "How wonderful! It's
How
so
great!"
mysterious."
I'm so glad we get to be doing this. I'm so glad we took this trip. And Oreki just thinks, man, I really wish we hadn't taken this trip. She's pleased as a peach about this turn of events. It's like, ooh, we
She's
get to go to the
easily
scary
pleased.
room. Yay, the scary room. Because what was it? The shutters are closed this morning. And when the girls went to bed last night at 10, they were shuttered. So in order for her to have seen a shadow lit up by the moon, the shutters would have had to have been opened sometime between 10 and morning, and then closed
Well,
again.
That or, the
Ghosts.
moon, or there was a guy on the roof of the annex where they were, and there was a shadow upon the shutters.
Oh, that's
that they
true. It's
saw.
possible.
That was actually my first thought. But yeah,
That's
I think
pretty
a
good.
ghost is
Or
probably
it could
more
have been
probable.
Old Man Johnson with a projector trying to scare kids away so he could mine the gold that's hidden under here.
Oh, man. I didn't consider that one.
Well, you really should have.
It's so obvious when you think about it.
I know it. Probably rubber masks are involved as well.
So they decide to go to the old wing of the hotel. Is that the side that's being renovated right now? I think it is.
I think both sides are kind of being renovated. So
Okay. So they go over there. They run into Kaio on the way.
Yeah.
And Oreki's like, "Hey, Kaio." And then he turns to Chitanda, "Help me out here. I'm bad with kids."
I'm awful with kids. You do it.
He's used like one word.
He's like,
and
hey,
he's done.
No, I'm really bad at this.
Hey, kids. How's it going?
How's the youth of today doing?
But she says,
Tell me about your Twitters and Tumblrs. Radical. You guys skateboard? Rollerblades?
So Kaio says that she won't help because her sister would be mad at her if she took them to room 7.
Yep. She's
super
weird, demure
but...
through this whole scene and looks really nervous while they're talking to her about the whole thing.
But to be fair, her character type is the nervous little sister, very shy. Doesn't want to talk to people.
The very shy Imoto-chan?
Yes, it is
I'm a fan of that character.
Anyway, so then they go to an exercise room.
Well, no, it's not the exercise room. They're just going out of the it's the stoop where you put on your shoes.
That's a really big stoop then.
I think it's a hotel.
That's true. There's a very large room that's currently covered in plastic wrap because of renovation, so it's kind of hard to tell exactly
that's fair.
what it is.
That's reasonable.
But there's some exercise stuff in the room.
Yep, there's the little stamp card that you do for the radio exercises every morning. Rie's is labeled again.
She likes to write her name on stuff.
Yep, that is her stamp card, and she's not very good at going to the radio exercises every morning.
I do like Chitanda. She picks the 2 cards up. She's like, "Oh, these! I remember these.
How nostalgic!
I did these up until I was in second year middle school."
Yeah, Oreki just drops everything he's doing. He's like, "What? Really?
He's like,
you did those until the middle of middle school?
That's
who are you?
Why?"
Because like the morning radio exercises in Japan are for like real little kids, not Chitanda.
Yeah, and that's like the equivalent of probably 8th grade over here.
Yeah, that's 8th grade here.
Yeah, that's
you don't do it when you're in 8th grade. I mean, you can see right now that Rie's chart doesn't have very many stamps, and she's in 6th grade, so she's already starting to outgrow it. But we also see 2 little handballs in this room, and again, Rie's is labeled, but not Kaio's.
So they go outside to take a look at the room 7, which is on the 2nd floor of the old wing.
Yep, and Oreki steps in it.
He does. Well,
he steps in mud.
He steps in mud. He's like, "Did it rain or something last night?" I was like, "Oh yeah, there was a shower.
Just a passing shower, nothing major." So they walk around the building, and Oreki looks up and sees that there's shutters on the opposite face of room 7. And says, well, in order to have seen anything lit up by the moon, then both the east and west windows would have had to have been open in this room. So that seems a little odd. So somebody would have had to come in and open both of these.
Yeah, and Kaio comes from around the corner and is her shy, nervous self.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, it's lunchtime.
Lunch. She summons the super mystery twins for lunch.
And at lunch, with Satoshi now in attendance.
Now
Oreki says, I have a theory about that whole ghost thing.
Yeah, because Ibara is asking for an update.
Well, actually, she seems a little less interested than she was about an hour ago.
I mean,
now she's like,
is Ibara.
Hey, have you got any more on that?
Any more on the ghost business?
It's kind of slipping off her radar.
Yeah.
The more impassioned reaction to this is actually from Satoshi.
Yeah,
he's super mad.
Dude, you've left me out of the loop. And I just have, dude, you slept through the loop. There was no loop for you to be in. You slept through it.
It's like he's woke up and he's just shown up to basically what is normally the conclusion of the thing.
Yeah. It's like, hey. Don't skip me.
Theory.
Spoilers. I'm supposed to be a part of this club.
However, before you can get too mad, Rie bounces in with her summer yukata, complete with
yukata.
obi.
Yeah, she's like, yay, look at me. She's here to show it off to Ibara. And I guess ostensibly the others, but mostly Ibara since she knows that. Satoshi leans in to Oreki real big, ready to drop some truth bombs. And he's like, hey, you want to know a secret? Hey, Oreki, you see that obi? It's fake. And Oreki's like, yeah, I don't care. But Satoshi persists. It's like a clip-on tie. So it just clips on the back. It's not one piece. It's two. And Oreki's like, I really don't care.
He makes some quips about women's fashion because Satoshi has opinions.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's in Sewing Club. So, I mean, I guess it's reasonable. Oreki's just like, dude, this is all pointless information. Thanks a million.
Yeah, he's like, you know what? That hobby doesn't even go with that pattern. It's all off. Ugh.
It's like, why don't you just go tell...
She's in 6th grade.
Go tell that 6th-grade girl how wrong her fashion is. Go mansplain her yukata to her, Satoshi. Go do it. Just do it. That'll endear yourself to this family real hard.
While he's doing this, though, Oreki notices that there's a shadow from behind one of the sliding screens.
Yeah.
That quickly vanishes.
And he's like, maybe I am now being stalked by the ghost of the hanged man. Yeah.
I guess I'll have to go back to the hot spring.
Yep, back to the hot springs with Chi-chan. I mean, they did come here to hot spring, so hot spring they will.
I do like this little scene because Oreki and Chitanda are walking together.
Yeah.
And he is now completely lost in thought.
Yeah.
He can't even remember his pretenses about conserving energy. Yeah. He has to figure this out now for its own sake.
Yep.
And Chitanda actually notices this.
Yeah,
but says
he
nothing.
Just looks over and smiles and blushes a little bit. She just basks in Oreki's thought process.
Yep.
She just seems very pleased with herself that she has tamed Oreki and his gear-like brain to do her bidding.
Has she tamed him, though, or is it more like she's made him addicted to her curiosity stuff?
Maybe. I'm beginning to believe more and more in your yandere theory.
Yeah.
That she's doing now some sort of twisted torture.
It makes sense.
But yeah, he's thinking about this all the way into the hot springs. We cut into the hot springs where he sees Satoshi there again, and he's like, dude, you're in the hot springs again? How often do you go to these things?
Satoshi's like, you were just at lunch.
Yeah.
How did you get here?
It's like, well, there's a mountain pass. You can just slip through the trees there and get right here. The whole point of hot springs is you're supposed to come multiple times a day, Oreki. I should be here all the time. While they're having this discussion, Oreki is lowering himself into the bath, and we get a very well-placed bucket. So, sorry again, ladies. No eye candy for you.
Still no Oreki butt.
Well, this isn't the butt this time. This is the money, but the bucket instead.
Bucket.
I still love. It's like guys, you're not live action. You could choose to show the scene differently. You don't have to go through the contrivance of having something hide the thing. You could just make the scene different. Come to think of it,
though, this show, I mean, it's got the waifu, which is Chitanda.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, she's the hoi hoi. People come to watch her. But when it's excluding the ending theme, because that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
The show doesn't do these kinds of tricks with the girls.
No, not often.
It only does it to Oreki.
Yeah, they've done it a couple times. Like when she was like, when Oreki was fantasizing her in the other hot spring. But it's really not super bad. It never gets even close
that's just
to like
him.
Yeah, it never gets really super close to being anywhere. Like it gets at most a fifth as bad as say Bake Monogatari. So like barely registering on fan service. The fan service you get is mostly of Oreki being like, look at this guy. Yeah. He's a bit of a hottie. Admit it to yourself. Boys and girls, you know he's a hottie. You're like, yeah, okay. Yeah, he's a bit of a hottie. I'm okay with it. I'll take some Oreki service. I'm okay.
So, speaking of Oreki service, there was a festival last night.
Yes.
Turns out.
Yeah, because Oreki sort of grills Satoshi for any more information about what went on last night. He asks, so what all happened last night, Satoshi? He's like, I dragged your sorry butt out of the onsen. It's like, no, seriously, come on. Stop it.
He's like, oh yeah, no, there's a Matsuri.
Yeah. Summer festival.
Didn't you hear all those taiko drums and stuff? He's like, oh yeah, taiko drums.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then as soon as he thinks about that, it all clicks. And he's like, okay, I got it.
Oh, done. I'm done.
Because like right before he asks Satoshi about all this, he's like, I'm pretty sure I can explain that shadow, but that won't satisfy Chitanda. Chitanda doesn't really care about the mystery. She cares about the why of the mystery. I could just tell her what the shadow was, but then she would just be like, oh, how boring. You have to sell it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to give
you
the
reasons.
Make
a whole theory.
Yeah, you got to do the...
It has to go beyond the actual thing.
It can't just be, oh, it was this. It has to be, well, it was this because...
So he hops out, and he gets all changed and everything, and goes back outside to wait for her.
To wait
to
for
walk
Chitanda.
back to the thing. For two reasons. One is they said that they would go walking back together, even though it's not that far.
Ooh.
But two, he wants to drop all the truth on her before they get back, so he doesn't have to explain himself in front of the Ibarra family.
That is true. He wants to explain it all on the way. So he meets Chitanda outside of the springs and does the tell-all on the walk home. There's no accusing parlor today. There's an accusing stroll. He's like, okay, so here's the deal, Chitanda. The shadow was just a yukata on a hanger. It was drying out. And she's like, well, why were both the windows open? Why was it there to let us see it? He was like, no, that's not important. What's important is that she opened up, both the windows were open so the yukata could dry out. It wasn't there to be seen. It was there to dry. And it was drying out because it was wet, because it rained last night, remember? And why was it in room 7? It was so nobody could see it. And Chitanda's like, dude, we all saw it. That's a big flaw in your theory. He's like, no. We don't matter. What matters is so the family wouldn't see it. He's like, see, Kaio hung it up there. Kaio was envious of Rie's new yukata and wanted to try it on. But did you not notice that Rie labels all of her stuff? She's gotten to that age where she's possessive and doesn't want her little sister to touch any of her stuff. So she couldn't just ask Rie to try it on. So she nicked it last night to go to the summer festival.
Yeah, did you not even notice that she wasn't there? She wasn't with you guys.
She wasn't there when you were telling the ghost stories because she was surprised you even told that ghost story. And I remember seeing a figure going across the courtyard at 8 p.m. But then it rained on her, so Kaio had to dry it out super quick because they were going to do fireworks tonight. And you can't do fireworks without a yukata. That's just the rule.
Mm-hmm.
So it had to be dry by tonight. And since Kaio is super good at waking up early in the morning to do her radio exercises, she would have plenty of time to get up there, take it down, fold it up, put it back in the drawer. So there. Done. Also, don't tell Ibarra any of this because it could stir up family drama, and I did not sign up for that.
And when he mentions that part, she gets a little sad. She's like, wait, do you mean...
Siblings don't get along?
Yeah, why wouldn't the siblings just share things when they ask?
He's like, dude.
Because
really...
that's how it is.
And she is super bummed. Like, really sad.
Oreki has ruined siblings for Chitanda because siblings are just withered flowers.
Yeah. But then, as they're walking up, Oreki and Chitanda see that Rie is giving a piggyback ride to Kaio because Kaio has slipped and broken her flip-flop and probably hurt her ankle. And as soon as Chi-chan sees this, she like super brightens up. She's like, yes!
Dreams are rekindled.
Dreams rekindled. Kids are great. Siblings are great. You should have kids. I should have a sister. You should have sisters for me. Have kids. Please have kids. If you have one kid, that's great. But you know what's better? 2 kids. Have a kid so they can have a brother or a sister. Have kids, Japan. And then the show's over.
Uh-huh. So many kids.
All
of them.
Japan, please have kids. Please have kids. I cannot say this enough. Please have kids. Siblings are the best. Like Dio. Dio's the best. He's a sibling. Wait, no. This is a bad example. Ignore that example.
Stepbrothers are bad. Okay, you should have real ones.
You should have real brothers and sisters. It would be great. Oh well, so that's it for Hyouka 7, the mystery of the hanged man, which is actually a wet yukata because sisters don't get along.
No, they don't.
Well, you do what you can. But the preview is very exciting.
I didn't see the preview.
You didn't watch the preview?
No.
It was preview for episode 8, Let's Go to the Screening, which means it's the movie arc.
I've heard good things about the movie arc.
It's 2 or 3 episodes and it's really good. I like it a lot. So, continuing the thing I stole from another podcast.
Yeah.
What was the best thing about this episode?
For me?
Yes.
I'd say the best thing was having an actual Japanese ghost story.
Oh, I mean, it was a good ghost story.
It had all the elements that you expect from a Japanese ghost story. I mean, they didn't really do anything with it, but at least it was there.
I think my best thing is actually like the girls helping each other out there at the end and it making Chitanda's day. I'm a sucker for that. It was cute.
Aw.
What was the worst? I
guess that it didn't really connect to anything else.
I mean, that's true. Yeah, this is very standalone. There's a legitimate complaint. But it is the onsen episode, so
It is the
hey,
onsen
at
episode.
least they didn't meet a dinosaur in a volcano.
That's true.
Nor was it a hotel run by an actual Dracula.
I don't know. If it had been run by an actual Dracula and it was still an onsen episode, I think that could have made for some really interesting social commentary right there. But all we got was a dumb mystery and a broken flip-flop.
Sometimes it's all you need in a show. Sometimes all you want is a dumb mystery and a broken flip-flop.
What was your worst thing?
Worst thing? I don't know. Can't think of an absolute worst thing, because even the things that were kind of bad were delightful, like Satoshi missing the whole episode by being in the bathtub or asleep. Oh, probably the worst thing for me about the episode is there's lots of little details that didn't really put into the mystery. Like the little shortcut that Satoshi mentions actually doesn't matter for the mystery. That was an extra detail. And considering most of these episodes are really tight.
The moment they mentioned that, I thought, well, Satoshi's going to end up being the ghost.
Yeah.
Or when they went into that room with the exercise balls and the little stamp sheets, I thought, oh, well, the person who ran out last night was probably one of the girls because they were out jogging or something. Because I initially thought, oh, he's just seeing a jogger, whatever.
Yeah.
But
the stamp thing,
none of those things actually came up.
Yeah, the stamp thing, too, how Rie had a lot less stamps than Kaio didn't matter a whole lot. Like, that one at least kind of tied into the mystery. But I think the pointless detail of Satoshi's shortcut was kind of irritating, because most of these shows, most episodes of Hyouka don't have, like, a red herring like that. Like, if they mention a specific
I'd like a red
detail,
herring if it, like, actually took them somewhere, but they just sort of throw the red herrings at the audience.
Yeah, this is just like a detail that doesn't have to do with the mystery at all. For no reason. And that was probably the worst. Who's the MVP? Who's most valuable Chitanda? MVC.
I think it would actually probably be Chitanda.
For not understand how siblings work?
Well, there's that. But more for how she handled herself at the breakfast when they share that unspoken dialogue. And then later when she has unspoken dialogue and they're walking to the onsen. Basically, whenever Chitanda's keeping her mouth shut but is doing something useful character development wise, it's generally good.
You hear that, internet? My brother's MVP was a woman who doesn't talk. You hear
true.
that? You hear that, Mrs. Ben?
Yeah, sorry.
You hear that?
Sorry.
Yeah, there you go. My MVP would either be Satoshi for missing the whole episode due to relaxing, or Ibarra for being super scared and then like super not taking Satoshi's like. Not Satoshi's, taking Oreki's gaslighting, where she's just like, yeah, if I didn't see a ghost, what did I see? Tell me. Huh? Prove it.
Come to think of it, Satoshi basically became Oreki for this whole episode.
Yeah, he kind of did.
They sort of swapped places.
I am going to sleep, and I'm going to relax in the bathtub. Have fun.
So there's Hyouka number 7.
Good old Hyouka 7 in the books. So on to our talk about pointless anime section.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. I like pointless anime.
Who doesn't like pointless anime? Actually, me, I don't like pointless anime.
Anyway, I want to give shout outs to some podcasts because other podcasts are cool.
Go for it.
Yeah, I've been listening to a lot of The Morphin Grid, which is a podcast about the Power Ranger show, the American Power Ranger show. They don't really talk about the Japanese stuff at all, and it is a delight.
Really?
A delight.
Did you actually watch that show? Because I know I didn't.
Yeah, we did. We both watched Power Rangers. We watched a good amount of Mighty Morphin.
I remember you did, and I think Steven did.
Yeah, because technically we weren't allowed, but we snuck episodes of it anyway.
Yeah, I think I was a little too old at that point for that.
I mean, that's fair. It is a baby show for babies, but it is. I remember like the Green Ranger stuff because it was like mind blowing when you're like 8. Either way, I've also been listening to their other podcast, Pokemon World Tour.
Oh, I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, it has gotten me playing Pokemon again, and they actually did a shout out for us on that episode, which was very nice.
Thanks.
Because I tweeted at them about Pokemon stuff because I like to name my Pokemon silly names.
So you're talking about it's the actual video games, not the card games?
They mostly talk about the video games and the anime. They don't talk about the card game.
Because I know the card game is what got you into this whole board game thing
That is true. I used
begin
to
with.
play I have 7 of my badges. I'm missing one of them because I have the pins from the original Pokemon League that start up for the card game. I have all of those. I have at least 7 of them. I think I'm missing one, though I know I had all 8 at one time. It's very upsetting. So you should go listen to those. If you like Pokemon, go listen to Pokemon World Tour. And if you like Tokusatsu, which I have been getting into lately, go listen to the Morphing Grid, which is edited by the same guy who edits Sailor Business, actually. So there you go.
Yeah, I was listening to Sailor Business this week while on my trip. They actually had 2 episodes that I could listen to.
Oh, nice.
And I listened to them, and I heard the Morphin Grid, but I didn't.
That's how I heard about them. I was like, I'm going to give those a listen. So I went back to, I was going to listen from the very beginning, but iTunes has chopped off some of their early episodes because iTunes does that.
Aw.
So I started with their stuff at the beginning of the year, which started on Power Rangers Zeo, which are episodes I've never seen. So it's delightful to hear about them.
I do like listening to people mess around with Pokemon and how ridiculous that whole world is.
Yeah. Pokemon is a wonderful world of secret math.
I keep telling my friend who is really, really into Pokemon, more than he should be, that he should do a show just describing the mythos behind it, at least. Because if I ask him about it, he will give me a great dumbed down response for it that is absurdly ridiculous.
There are a lot of fan theories because the games are a little sparse on story, so there are copious fan theories. What I like about Pokemon World Tour is they say that, a lot of Pokemon podcasts and a lot of the Pokemon community is into the competitive scene, so that's all about the dark secret eldritch maths that runs the game. Where they're like, we don't care about that. We just like Pokemon. Totodile is cool, especially if you name a Totodile Soda Pop. It's like, this is my kind of Pokemon talk. I want to hear more dumb names.
That's awesome. Great. I'll have to give that a listen.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Because I've not been watching a whole lot of Pokemon. I haven't been watching much Pokemon. I haven't been watching a whole lot of anime. Instead, we've been watching lots of tokusatsu. We finished up Forza. We watched the Forza O's crossover movie. And now we've started on Super Sentai Gokaiger, which is the 35th anniversary series for...
That sounds exciting.
For Super Sentai, the show that we nicked to make Power Rangers from.
Now, when Power Rangers came over, did we keep the transformed sequences in the fights? Or
yes.
Did we redo everything?
No, we didn't redo. We used lots of reused footage. Even the newer Power Rangers still uses the Super Sentai footage for a lot of the monster fights.
That's awesome.
They'll recut it, but yeah, all the monster fight stuff is still from Japan. For reasons I don't really know, because Power Rangers has made enough money here in the States that we could really film our own if we wanted to. But I don't know.
It doesn't take a lot. You just need some cardboard buildings and a rubber suit.
You'd be surprised. It's real complex these days. We've come a long way in, I guess, 40, 45, 50 years of tokusatsu.
Well, I haven't watched anything this week because, as people who follow me on Twitter might have known, I was in Reno all week for business because I was voluntold to go.
Voluntold.
So, yeah, I didn't get a whole lot of watching anything done.
I mean, there's flights. I saw that you had delicious Japanese food from a Japanese restaurant. That's tangentially related.
I just went on Yelp and was like, okay, what's the best food around here? The top one was a sushi place. I'm like, I like sushi.
Was it
good?
And
it's within walking distance. Oh, yeah, it was good.
Okay.
It was $20 all you can eat.
Ooh.
And they made it right there in front of you.
Nice.
It's nice. Yeah. But while I was gone, the wife decided that she would watch an anime that I just recently finished. And so I didn't really feel the compelling reason to watch it again. She watched it. She watched Death Parade.
Death Parade. I've heard that name, but I've not seen it.
So Death Parade is an anime that is like other shows we've mentioned, the Spider Girl show.
Oh, sure.
Little Witch Academia. Those one-off shorts.
Yeah.
This one was a short that was done by I think it was Madhouse, and it was called Death Billiards. And the premise was these two people who don't know each other show up at a bar.
Yeah.
And they're forced to play a game of billiards.
For a minute there, I thought you were going to say they don't know each other and they made a promise to kill each other's wives. And it's like, wait, no, this I've seen this movie. This is very different.
Oh, no. This takes place after that because they start playing pool and they start realizing that, A, they're dead.
Oh, well, that's a bummer.
And B, this whole game is to decide who gets to go to heaven and who gets to go to hell.
Well, that seems
the
needlessly
referee
cruel.
is the bartender.
Oh, yeah. No, I have heard of this. Yeah.
Yeah. Death Billiards is amazingly good. And if you haven't seen it, you need to watch it because it's one episode, 30 minutes.
Yes, no, you're right. I have heard Death Parade because it's this whole concept done a couple different times, a couple different ways, right?
Right. So Death Parade decided to take that and make a 13 episode show out of it.
Yeah. No, you're right. Now that you explain the setup, I remember this.
Yeah. So they take that setup and for the first half they repeat it several times in different ways, skewing it and making new things come to light to keep it fresh.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last half they start focusing on the girl who is with the bartender.
Yeah.
Because she shows up in Death Billiards. There's no real explanation to why she's there or who she is. But that is explained in Death Parade.
Cool.
And it was really good. Really enjoyed it when it came out. And she watched it over this week.
Now you're just making me want to watch Bartender again.
You could watch Bartender. I would say go ahead and watch Death Billiards instead.
I like Bartender.
Because, okay, so if you take Bartender and shove what makes Bartender into about 3 minutes of the show, and the rest is just high-stakes drama, then you have Death Billiards.
Well, you're not giving me an argument against not just watching Bartender again.
Bartender, he will listen to your sad tale, make
you a
perfect drink, and then you will feel no different.
What? No, he completely changes.
But you'll go on your way feeling slightly like some of your burdens have gone away,
and
your mood hasn't really changed.
He gets the English translation for what bartender means completely wrong, but it's a delight. Oh wait, is Death Parade on something, or do I have to steal it from the internet?
I'm sure it's on Crunchyroll. Let me look.
I want to say it is. I should watch it
again. Death Parade is on Hulu.
Oh, okay. Well, then there you go.
And on Funimation.
Oh, well, I'll watch it on Hulu because I don't have a Funny subscription. Because I hate how they've done that.
Also, it has an amazing op.
Oh, that's nice.
It has a great op that's super jazz band style.
See, now you're again reminding me of Bartender in a good way.
No, not like smooth jazz. This is like high intensity jazz.
Oh, okay.
And the best part is you watch that, you love the theme, and then you go look up the full version on YouTube. You can find the official music video for it, and it is super amazing. I'm not gonna spoil anything for you on
like
that
in a
one.
Good way or in a good bad way.
Good bad way.
So this is like an Indian subcontinent music video, which are always delightful.
It's that, except it's Japanese.
Nice. For some reason, and I don't know why, the United States is the only country on the planet that can make a decent music video. We're the only people that are good at it.
I don't know. I mean, we make high quality looking music videos, that's for sure.
Well, I mean,
but far as just let's take our imagination and run with it, we're really boring.
Well, I mean, that's fair.
The Asian continent there is just, they're like, well, we don't have the budget for that, but we're going to make it look the way you said anyway, even if that requires cardboard cutouts.
I mean, that's fair. Oh. Yeah.
See, I don't know what we're going to watch next. She's still watching Cowboy Bebop. Still watching Moribito.
Okay. Are you still enjoying Moribito?
Yeah, we're almost done. I think we're episode 20-ish.
Still really liking it? Because it is really good.
It has slowed down a bit. Because it's in the section where there's not a whole lot of fighting, and it's more just let's stay away from trouble.
Oh, yeah.
I assume we're building to some sort of fight scene. But
yeah.
I do kind of wonder about, I realize this is really old Japan, so I'm not really sure about like the historicity of these kinds of attitudes. But the bodyguard takes the prince.
Yep.
She protects him.
Yep.
From the palace who wants to kill him.
Yep.
And then twist, spoilers, in the middle of the show, they realize, oh, wait, the reason that the palace wanted to off the kid in the first place turns out to be completely wrong, and they should save him. So their solution to this is not to go to the bodyguard and be like, oh, sorry, we messed up. Just bring him back. Great times were had. We can all party. It'll be great. Instead, they go, okay, we need to kill the bodyguard and steal the boy back instead of just explaining ourselves.
Yeah, well.
Because they could just explain themselves.
You could.
It just seems a little odd that they would take the hardest route first. But I do realize that in Heian era Japan, they didn't really think things through very well.
Yeah, that's fair.
When it came to these kinds of things.
What?
How about that Jojo?
Yeah, Jojo Bizarre Adventure Part 1, Phantom Blood, Episode 7, the one where Zeppli dies.
Oh,
was that the name of the episode, or did I get that wrong?
I think you got it wrong, and I think you've put a knife like right here,
right near,
right there,
right in your Kokoro place,
right in my Kokoro. So we open JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 1,
Phantom Blood,
Episode 7, The Inheritor,
the one where Zeppli dies. I'm sticking with it. That's my name for the episode.
We open in Tibet, 1863, where someone who doesn't look anything like Zeppeli,
he's got the same voice,
and Master Tonepetty are up on a high wire, as one does,
training hundreds of feet in the air,
and Zeppeli apparently is ready, says Master Tonepetty.
Yes,
ready for the Celestial Gate. Now, don't worry, we're not going to mention that again.
Yeah, don't worry. Hey, isn't that what happened in Darker Than Black? Isn't that what those are called?
Actually, I think you're right. I think they are called Celestial Gates.
Huh.
I don't remember what they were.
Well, there's a fanfic in the writing. It's cool. The show itself is super vague on what those gates are.
Yeah, something fire. Anyway, so Zeppeli is given one more chance.
One last chance. After enduring 3 years of tough training, he still has one last chance to stop his training before his fate is sealed.
Yeah, you can still escape your doom.
Because remember, last episode we learned that Zeppeli had a prophecy saying he will die.
Which is pretty vague.
It's fairly vague, because all of us will probably die of something sometime.
Sometimes dancing with a bear, other times dancing with Jojo.
Yeah.
Anything could happen.
Anything. Buses.
Zeppeli asked when he would die. When and where. Questions that I kind of wanted to know last time, because you will die is
super
not
vague.
Really helpful.
It's like, yeah, I know.
So Tonepetty grabs his hand and actually tells him, in no uncertain terms, you're going to, well, they're pretty uncertain.
Well, they're
you're going to die
vague, but
in an ancient chamber, which a child opens, where a chained young tiger awaits to be rescued.
Yeah.
Just like now.
Yeah. Turns out. Because we cut to the Chain Gang, where Jojo and T-Mac Tarkus are still battling it out. And Zeppeli steps forward, thinking, this is my chance to free that chained young lion, is what my translation said. And then we get Jojo, the opening theme. Yeah. Dio walking up a wall, etc., etc.
So when we get back from that, Jojo is in a dai pinchy.
Die pinchy indeed.
If he doesn't get help pretty soon, he's gonna bite the big one,
because he's trying to get that collar off of him. Because if you remember last time, he was chained up with a big metal chain all the way to Tarkus across the room. He couldn't ham in the chain because there was a ceiling in the way. Because we learned some very important rules about Hammond work last time.
But Zeppeli just steps forward and is like, "You need to let my people go."
Yeah, oh yeah.
And Tarkus is not really going to have that.
No, he just taunts and promptly attacks Big Master Z. But Z is good.
He's like a gymnast, just all over the place.
He's dodging left, dodging right. He's floating like a bee and dodging like a butterfly.
And then he launches his tornado overdrive.
Yeah.
With fire legs.
Oh, he is ready. He's making this happen. But in that anime style, right before it connects, T-Max zips out of the way in super fast movement, and Zeppeli looks above me, he's like, oh no, Tarkus is right above me, ready to body slam me, and Jojo's like, no, there's a chain below you, ready to snag you, and it's like...
Tarkus is like, you're both right.
You're both right.
I got this.
I call this the Hell Heaven Snake Kill. All in English, by the way.
Yeah, he's had time to think about that.
He's done this before. Yeah, and Master Z is caught in a vice of death.
He can neither breathe, nor can he Hammond.
Yeah, because
Jojo
what
can't
happened
either.
What happened, right, is like the chain wraps around him like in a knot and catches Zeppeli around the waist in like a loop. And I just wrote in my notes, it's like, dude, this chain isn't going through the ceiling, so no ceiling rules this time. You should be able to Hammond that chain and zap Tarkus.
But he can't breathe.
Yes, and then he quickly explains that it's choking him too, so he can't breathe because his diaphragm can't go. I'm like, oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
You're at least consistent.
He
there.
breathed out before this happened, so he can't.
Yeah, that's fair.
He can't inhale.
But this chain snagging Zeppeli also has sent Jojo flying all the way up to the top of the chamber because of how the chain connects. And
breaks his neck.
Dude, then stuff gets real. Like
this episode takes a dive real quick.
Yeah. Tarkus keeps pulling on that chain. Jojo's up at the top, struggling for life. The air is getting squeezed out of Zeppeli, and we cut to sort of Speedwagon's point of view, and he sees blood around the chain around Zeppeli, and it cuts deeper and deeper, and then pop! It cuts Zeppeli in half, like straight up.
I had to take a drink just then. I had to take it for Zeppeli.
Yeah, no, just pour one out. He is toast.
That's it.
He gets cut in half by a chain.
And there are manly tears.
And as soon as the chain goes slack, Jojo also falls from the ceiling to the ground. Tears are streaming down Speedwagon's face. All is lost. And Tarkus exclaims, Master Dio, I have executed them according to your will. Speedwagon just is like, man, this is just all too cruel. This is awful.
All is lost.
And it is. Like, dude, Zeppeli just get cut in half. Like, I've seen these episodes before, but I forgot how, harsh it was.
Yeah, it doesn't really pull punches on this one.
No. It's like, yeesh.
But wait, what's this?
Is there hope?
Jojo isn't
young Master
dead.
Jojo stirs.
He does stir. With the broken neck.
Yeah, he's like, dude, he's still alive with a broken neck. Oh well. And he moves over. Tarkus moves over to Jojo to just crush him. But Jojo's not the only one still alive. Zeppeli still has some life in him. And with his only arm left, he grabs Jojo's hand and drags him closer. He exclaims that he's going to use his ultimate technique. And he grabs Jojo and charges him up with Hammond energy and yells the best he can while being half a man. Ultimate deep pass overdrive. And there's a giant explosion of Hammond into Jojo as Jojo's shirt explodes off of him. We cut outside the castle where there's a big explosion of Hammond as well.
Speedwagon is overcome. He's both fearful and ecstatic.
And crying.
Like, my friends are still sort of alive, but one has clearly been mortally injured.
Definitely not as alive as the other one.
There's the power of God here. I don't know what to feel.
Tears. Always with the manly tears, Speedwagon. As the explosion dissipates, we get a zoom in of Master Z's face, now aged. His mustache has gone white, his hair is white, and he says he has given all of his life energy to Jojo. Well, T-Max is like, well, nuts to this.
Say, I'm going to crush both you and your friend into paste under my boot.
Yep, gonna squash our hero, and unfortunately our ex-hero, into paste. But right before he's about to bring his foot down on what's left of Zeppeli, he is stopped short by the chain. The chain that's connected to Jonathan Joestar. Jojo pulls the chain, pulling T-Max all the way off the ground entirely. And he steps on that chain to keep him there, suspended in the air.
And as the camera pans up, we see that Jojo has turned, in these last few moments, from a boy into a shirtless Greek god made of muscles and Gar.
And Hammond energy. He starts pulling at his collar, and Tarkus taunts him. It's like, dude, there's no way a human could pull steel apart. Even with the power Lord Dio gave me, I couldn't do it. So, of course, Jojo pulls it off. Because he's Jojo, burning with righteous anger in Hammond.
He is a man on fire. And he punches that zombie knight with his fire fist and burns him to nothing.
Yeah.
But not before Tarkus shoots his teeth at Jojo.
That
which
is
pretty
true.
Sweet.
Yeah. So when he pulls off the collar, Tarkus falls to the ground. Jojo gets to monologue a little bit, saying, "You are utterly twisted by your madness. You willingly sold your soul to Dio." This makes Tarkus really mad, and he bites his fangs off, and then he spits them at Jojo.
Yeah, embedding them in his face.
Yeah, after Jojo karate chops off Tarkus's arm, and then Jojo does a vice punch, a punch to the chin and a punch to the forehead, melting Tarkus's entire brain,
whole brain, and his whole body.
Yeah,
just nothing left, melts. Just armor.
And as we see the melting body of Tarkus fall to the ground, we get a commercial break.
Hooray!
The first half of this episode is super fast, and a lot happens in it.
And in the second half too. Let's not kid around.
This is a busy episode. We've got stuff to do.
You don't have time for your emotions right now. We got things.
And we even get that because as soon as we come back to break, we have everybody gathered around the top half of Zeppli, and Jojo's weeping. "What will we do without you, Zeppli?" And Zeppeli's like, "Dude, Jojo, you're an idiot. Have you lost your wits? You don't have time to grieve. Go destroy that mask and kill Dio."
I am satisfied with my fate.
Yep.
And then he lays on some stuff. He's like, "When I was young, I was married and had a family, but I abandoned them all to destroy this mask.
Yep.
But it's okay. I'm good. I passed along all of myself to you, Jojo.
You are both a son and my best friend. You are my hope." Heavy lines from a heavy man.
Jojo now has lost 2 father figures in the span of a few weeks.
His actual father and Zeppli.
And the narrator comes in to give us some things.
Some quotes.
He says that the 19th century novelist William Thackeray wrote, "To love and win is best, but to love and lose is next best." And so they lay Zeppeli to rest in a funeral pyre. But, and this is important, they keep his hat.
They do keep his hat. You are right.
Very important.
Odd Job / REO Speedwagon needs a new sweet hat. So he inherits Zeppeli's hat.
Speedwagon has become the keeper of the hat.
While Master Zeppeli is Mufasa-ing from the clouds above his funeral pyre, we cut to Dio's
Castle Grayskull.
No, that has fabulous secret powers and fabulous secrets. This just has one secret, and it's Dio, and it's not a secret because he just tells you what he does. In this case, turns women into vampires.
Yeah. This woman's in front of Dio, and she's clutching her child in her arms. And we see Dio from a low angle, and above him, what can only be the rest of the town is hanging from the ceiling as bats.
Yep.
Because they are bats now.
So here's how I wrote it. A woman is begging for the life of her child while Dio crushes a cross with his bare hand, whilst a legion of vampire zombies, whatever, hang out on the ceiling. Because remember, they're not technically vampires, they're actually zombies that just happen to act a whole lot like vampires.
Right.
Including hanging from the ceiling like bats.
So this woman is pleading for her child. She's like, "Please, anything but him.
You can
just leave him alone.
Just leave my boy alone. Please spare him."
And Dio says, "Okay, but only if you are ours." And she's frightened. She sees, the bat people. She doesn't want that, but, not her kid.
Yeah.
So Dio acquiesces. He said, "It'd be better if both of you joined, but, however you want it."
I will promise you that neither I nor my servants will harm your child. But, I mean, you really should consider making your baby a vampire. Like, it would really be best. She's like, no, anything but that.
So he turns her into a vampire.
Yep, while he smirks.
And then she sees her kid in her arms and eats him.
Yeah, it takes a bite out of crime, and by crime I mean children.
Although it is a little odd that just a minute ago he said none of my servants will harm your kid, but didn't he like just make her his servant?
Well, I mean, it depends on how you're getting, because Dio is smirking to himself, being very proud of his clever ploy, because he's like, we didn't harm your kid, instead you ate him yourself. This is a tragedy of your own choosing.
Yeah,
like, he knew what he was doing. Also, again, Dio's a bad dude.
I'm in my scenario, he's worse because now he's a liar.
Well, we know that already.
Well, yeah, but now he's more of a liar.
Well, he's both. He's
Whereas
a bad dude.
in that scenario, he was just clever, but he was telling the truth, and she should have known.
He's both. He is a clever liar. I think we can settle on that.
Fair enough.
Well, after we get this scene, which is mostly pointless, it's basically there just to show us how bad of a dude Dio is, which is, spoilers, such a bad dude.
All of the bad.
We cut back to our gang walking down a lonely road, the only road they've ever known. See what I did there?
Speedwagon is
Okay.
Speedwagon looks back at Jojo and thinks,
Oh, and this is where I noticed where he had where Speedwagon had Zeppeli's hat, and I was super excited. However, Jojo also got a new shirt in this scene. Where did he get that shirt?
that's a good point. I didn't notice that.
He's got shoulder pads, he's got pauldrons, and he has the shirt. Where did he get those?
Oh, well, the pauldrons he could have gotten from Tarkus, but the rest of it,
Where did he get his purple shirt back?
maybe Poco had another one hidden in his pants.
Yeah, you don't want anything that was in his pants. He spent the
Well,
last
his
two
pants-
episodes peeing himself.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he made them out of leaves.
I was about to ask. He may have made them out of leaves.
So Speedwagon looks at Jojo and he thinks, man, he looks different from before. He's more grim. He's darker. And I've put in parentheses here, and more like a man. Like a lot of his childish features are now completely gone, and he looks like
he is chiseled.
a total Bishonen guy now.
Yeah, he is. I wouldn't go so far as to say
no,
he's
he
Bishonen.
looks more like Ken from Fist of the North Star.
Yeah, no, that is true.
Yeah, he's hardened up.
Yeah, and he says that they must now contain their sadness and anger until after Dio has fallen.
Yeah, they don't even know if the town down there is still alive.
Because Dio said he was going to take all of Wind Knight's lot by the end of the night.
And right now, it's pretty dark down there.
Yeah,
there's
it's
not
getting
a lot
pretty
of,
nighttime.
A lot of noise. And Poco is wondering about his sister too. It's like, where's she at? Is she okay?
But they meet a man on the road coming away from the town of Wind Knight's lot, and they're like, "Dude, I hope everything's okay down there. I thought everybody was dead." And the man has enough time to make a dumb little jokey joke, so they're like, "Okay, it must not be too bad down there."
Yeah, it's like, oh, well, he has no idea what's going on down yonder, or he's an evil tongue monster.
Yeah, because so the man makes a little joke, being like, "Yeah, your sister's gonna be like super mad. That if there's anything wrong in town, it's because you've been away too long." Her. And they're like, oh, "Okay, must be safe." But as they walk away, the man's face darkens. His tongue comes out 9 feet. His head swivels around backwards, and he remarks that he can't wait to taste the young flesh of poor Poco. So, maybe the town's not in such a great shape as we thought.
So his tongue acts like Bishi Knight's hair from a couple episodes ago.
Yeah.
And is just going for Poco, just straight away. But Jojo is having none of it. He just grabs that tongue, yanks him to the ground, and
Boots him to the face.
Fire boots him. He's dead.
Wait,
He's dead.
you mentioned how he transformed, right? Like, he wasn't like just that guy, but with a long tongue. He hulks out for a second and instantly becomes a Power Ranger monster.
And then he's dead.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, you need to learn that you're not even the monster of the week.
Yeah.
You should have known.
You are so far below monster of the week. You're not even a putty, man. Like, you are so low down on this totem pole.
I was going to say you don't even have a name, but they mentioned him as he was walking up, so...
Because what he does is when he, like, lunges for Poco and everybody, he's like, "Yeah, I bet you can't deal with how fast I am." And Jojo's like, "No."
Jojo defeats him basically without turning around.
Yeah, he just steps on the guy's face and hammonds his entire brain. And Master Detective Jonathan Joestar says, "It looks like it's too late for the town."
Good job.
It's like, again,
Good job, buddy.
Well done.
But then another dude walks up, who I have here as an evil-looking Speedwagon with David Bowie hair.
Okay, what I wrote is he looks ridiculous, so he's either a new sub-boss or an ally. No in between.
I figured he was a sub-boss.
Yeah.
Until,
again, like, I've seen this before, but I've forgotten some of this. So I was just like, well, this guy looks super silly, so he must be a sub-boss or he's a new ally for Jojo and the crew.
Well, he names himself Dire when he shows up, so it's a 50-50 shot there.
Again, we're still at it. And then he attacks Jojo, which again still makes it an even split on whether or not he's a good guy or a bad guy.
He like goes in for the slow kick, but then Jojo's like,
can you explain to me how a jump kick is slow? Because that's what he does. He does a flying jump kick at Jojo, and Jojo's like, that's a really slow kick. How do you fall slow?
Well, I mean, if you've ever watched Bruce Lee fight, a kick from him can either be really fast, where you don't even see it coming at all, or he could be like this guy who basically jumps in the air.
Yeah.
And takes this long arcing motion towards Jojo, which he's already telegraphed his move.
That's fair.
And you're just waiting for it to land at this point.
All right. No, I'm okay with that.
So he's like thunder split attack, because he's apparently going to try and kick him with both feet at once. But his real motivation is to karate chop him between his splits.
Yeah.
But Jojo just headbutts him in the face.
Yep. It's like, no, I don't have time for this. Did you not see me frag that zombie beforehand? I think I can put you in your place.
And Dire's like, wait. I'm human. I just wanted to see how much Zeppli has trained you.
And they're like, what? Because Jojo poses. He's ready for take 2 with Dire. And Dire's like, yeah, no. It's cool, Jonathan Joestar. I just wanted to see how well Zeppli trained you. And it's like, whoa, way to name drop, man.
Yeah, and before he can even process that information, this long-haired dude shows up.
I write that a Naruto walks up, because he looks like a Naruto character.
Actually, yeah, he kind of does. He shows up he's Strizo, he says. Yep. And he has a letter from Zeppli.
Yeah, because Dire and Strizo have been with Zeppli for 20 years.
Oh, man.
Helping him hunt the mask.
And then behind them comes none other than Master Tone Petty.
Here comes Tone Petty, too. It's like, wow, we got the band back together.
Yeah, they've all come, and they've said that they got a letter from Zeppli asking for aid, and here they are.
Yeah.
And I had to take a moment there, because I'm thinking, okay, Zeppeli's only known Jojo for like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
These guys, at least Tone Petty, was in Tibet.
Yeah.
And this is 1860 something. No, it's 1880 something.
Here we go. Are you ready for this? 1.
Go for it.
Tone Petty already knew the future and when Zeppli would die. We've got that.
Well, I don't know about that, because he never said exactly when. He only told.
We'll not worry about it. That's what we're going with.
All right, let's hear the rest of your theory.
All right. Also, as soon as Zeppli figured out where the mask was, he probably sent the letter, which may or may not have been, that may have been before he contacted Jojo.
Well, no, because they said they got the letter describing both the mask and its owner and their whereabouts.
Yeah.
And they're coming up from the sea.
Okay.
Because remember, when Night Slot is a
so
sea town.
They may have taken a ship,
which means they've come here first.
Yeah.
And the Joestar mansion is quite a ways away.
Yeah. Do you remember last episode how they used Hammond magic magnetism to make a bunch of leaves into a giant sail kite?
Are you suggesting they made telephones?
I'm suggesting anything is possible.
Because if you had said right there that they made a giant cellular phone,
yeah,
and called Tone Petty,
they may
as
have
well as sent this letter, I'd believe you.
That could have been what happened.
All right, let's settle on that one then.
Out of Hammond Energy, they sent a telegraph. It's not a letter. That's a telegraph to Tom Petty using Hammond Energy, and using Hammond Energy, they teleported here. It's all fine. It all checks out.
It's all constructive.
Can you tell me something that Hammond can't do other than be destructive?
Destroy a metal wall or door.
That's being destructive.
Right. Punch through a brick wall. Oh wait, no, you can't do that.
Yeah, destructive.
Hey, no, wait, you can punch through a brick wall.
Through it.
Through it.
It can also break rocks under frogs, which is not destructive.
Yeah.
So,
well,
I mean,
two
I think
rocks
this,
in
I think this
that
checks
instance.
out. I think we're fine.
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good.
This all works.
Anyway, so Jojo sticks out his hand to shake the hand of Master Tone Petty.
He's like, yeah, we don't do that. We bow to each other. He's like, oh,
Sorry.
okay.
So then the grim tale of Zeppeli's end is told.
Yep.
And Tone Petty says, looking back over the town over his shoulder, says, Dio's power is overwhelming.
He is extraordinarily wicked.
And as he's saying this, we see two things. First is the castle, in which we have the wavy, dark energy emanating from it.
Yeah.
But second, we cut to inside,
Yep.
where Dio is lounged back in a chair with 2 bowls of roses.
Yep.
On either side of him, as he's holding and contemplating a rose, while 2 dogs with the heads of humans are sitting on him,
Did
and
you
a
notice his
bird with a cat head is sitting up upon his shoulder.
I don't know where he made these chimeric creatures, but I mean, he is extraordinarily wicked.
Yeah, his power is overwhelming, and if you didn't realize how overwhelming, he's made these things from Full Metal Alchemist.
Either that or the new Pokemon game is really dark, you guys.
Oh, man.
It's gotten weird.
And he says, man, that went faster than I thought.
Yep.
I've got the whole town under my control now. Yeah. Come at me, Jojo. But then we cut over to the window.
Yeah.
Where Poco no One-chan is still alive and not zombified for some reason.
Poco's unvamped sister is being held captive by the wicked Dio.
And then we get to Roundabout.
Yeah, and with that, we fade to Roundabout.
So, yeah. An interesting episode.
We got stuff going on. And we get the preview for next week's episode, Blood Feud, Jojo, Ampersand, Dio.
That'll be one for the ages, I'm sure.
Yeah. I don't know if that's the end of the arc or the episode right before the end of the arc.
Yeah, the arc is 9 episodes. So
okay, then that's the penultimate.
So at least half the final battle, I'm sure.
Yep. So, how you feeling about Jojo? It got real grim there.
What was your favorite part of the whole episode?
Favorite part. I mean, just how manly Jojo was after he got the ultimate deep pass overdrive.
Oh yeah.
Because when he was punching Tarkus, tears were streaming down his face. He was racked with sadness, but he still knew what had to be done.
And now he's become a man.
Oh yeah, he is ready to take on Dio
with the most abs of all of them.
What was your favorite part?
I like the fact that Speedwagon kept his hat.
Yeah, no, I like it.
Because the torch has been passed in one way to Jojo.
Yeah,
but clearly in another way to Speedwagon.
Yep. Because the Speedwagon family continues to help out the Joestar family for a long time into the future.
I appreciate that.
So it all trucks. It's good. So what was your least favorite part?
Obviously Zeppli dying, but
well, yeah. That's sad.
I mean, besides that,
it's not like a bad part of the episode. That's just a sad part.
I think the part I don't like is that Poco's sister is still alive and unzombified for apparently no good reason. I'm sure it's because Dio realizes that Poco's with them and this will be more dramatic, but I don't know. This is one of those contrived things like, well, of course he has the important character here.
He does like making things dramatic.
Yeah. I think that was probably the worst part.
I think my worst part has to go to the part with the woman like eating her kid, because that whole scene was kind of pointless. It didn't really add anything. It was just there to be like, Dio's still evil, but there's a lot of ways to make Dio more evil than like this little contrived thing. Just have him kick some more puppies or show him making those weird people dogs.
And like I said, that particular scene doesn't really make Dio more evil. It makes him bring out the evil in the woman.
Yeah, I guess.
Like
I don't know.
He's tricked the woman to being evil.
Yeah.
And I guess if that's his evil side, then okay. But
yeah, I don't know. It didn't really drive. I mean, I do love any time Dio is evil, but this was just a little much. MVP.
MVP? Yeah, Zeppli.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's got to be Zeppli, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, he gets the whole face in the sky and everything.
Yeah. it's either Zeppli for me or Master Ton Petty for showing up so quick after that letter. Because I mean, you're right. They do get here awfully quick. So I'm gonna give him most valuable player for showing up as fast as he did.
Yeah,
with Dyer and Strizo in hand.
Okay, so do Dyer and Strizo have any band references that I'm not aware of, or are they just
probably
cool names?
Stratzo sounds like Stradivarius, right?
Yeah, that could be.
So I don't know. I mean, I'm sure we could go to Jojo Wiki right now and see if they have.
In fact, I just did.
Yeah,
I just typed in Strizo instant wiki.
Yeah.
I don't want to read synopsises. Trivia.
Yeah, you just want to see trivia.
So Dyer is named after Dire Straits.
Okay, sure.
Which is a British rock band.
Oh, then I bet both of their name is.
Yeah, I think Strizo is too.
Yeah, because it would be Dyer Strazo. Yeah, see. They do it with both.
I get it.
Clever.
That is clever. I like it.
Put them as a group. Like Oingo Boingo Brothers, same deal. Name one Oingo and the other Boingo. It makes the pun when you put them together. So has JoJo lived up to your expectations?
It has.
I'm so glad.
Although we haven't yet, and I'm not sure if we're going to have another thing quite like Jack the Ripper popping out of horse by the end of this arc, because the next 2 episodes are clearly going to be the fight.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to more of the crazy stuff as we get into the longer.
Yeah, if you like the crazy stuff, Battle Tendency is a pretty zany arc because Joseph Joestar is, you know how like pure and awesome and amazing Joseph is, Jonathan is.
Yeah.
Now make him an ass, because that's Joseph. Joseph's thing is he's kind of a jerk. He's an American, so he's already like a pretty big jerk. So he's pretty.
Well, you mean the Japanese idea of what American is?
Exactly. So he's like a smarmy jerk.
I'm looking forward to that.
So we get some pretty bonkers stuff in the next one.
Oh, good. So there we go.
There you are.
Yep, JoJo episode 7.
There we go.
The inheritance has been passed. Hey everyone, thanks for listening. If you'd like to get more info on anything we talked about, check out the show notes or the website at aniki.fm. You can also get in touch with us to ask questions, make comments, or tell us how wrong we are. We're on Facebook and Twitter at Aniki Podcast. You can also email us at podcast@aniki.fm. And if you have a minute, please leave a review on iTunes or Stitcher. We really appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time on Aniki.